And I wonder what happened. You've seen the presentation of Marcel, when this solution would have been existing already in the year 2008, 2009, when the financial crisis, in fact, was a trust crisis, was a bank crisis, when this solution would have happened and would have been available in regions like Spain, like Portugal, where the solid business was there, but it was a financial problem. I was at that time managing director of a company in the Netherlands from Evonik, and our major business at that time was down in the region of the Mediterranean area. And it was really a challenge to see how the companies suffered. They were profitable on one side, but the problem was to get enough liquidity in order to run their business, continue the business. And this solution here is, I see it, and that's the reason why I'm very excited about the solution, even broader from that perspective than only seeing the area of financing supply chain side. Yes, Evonik Industries. Another exciting thing what I learned in the last 2 years is the new generation, what we have seen here. And when I started having the headline of my presentation, and Tony saw it and he said, sounds a little bit bold. And he switched it to how the future of business optimization in the chemical industry is in the hands of an oracle. And I said, that's cool. That sounds very fate type, but it's really cool because in fact we talk about data oracle, we talk about IoT, what Marcella said, we talk about solid information coming from sensors and we can make use of it. Do I have this one? Okay. So, okay. Yes. With the oracle in the hand. And I thought, when I look into the last years working with young people together, I thought there is a real new generation coming, or it is there already. And I thought, I call them the generation Jobs. You remember Steve Jobs? He made a change in the world, and this generation is continuing this change. They think completely different to the situation, what Marcel has shown in the traditional business world. I work with Evonik 30 years. But if somebody is coming in and seeing the structure of the business, says, why do you do it that way? Why can't you change it? We say, yeah, he's right. And in fact, IT solutions, there's one more challenge we are facing in the IT world. It is our actual structure is following an ERP system, like an SAP, which is really functional organized. And you have silos within that organization. So, and when a guy like Marcel is coming in and says, we have blockchain, we have totally new technologies, all of a sudden you think different, you think new solutions. And that is for me absolutely fascinating what I see here from this change of the world. I work with Evonik Digital GmbH, and Evonik decided 2 years ago not to make a digital project. We started with a digital project, but in the meantime we are Digital GmbH, so we are outside of Evonik Industries, and we are the digital innovation factory. We work with startup companies. We have students in our team. And again, fascinating how the students think so different and coming to new solution, which is absolutely amazing. And then all of a sudden, the thing starts to change the mindset from top management down to the working level. The fears, yes, they are there. But on the other side, the opportunities, if you start to think in this direction, is even bigger. So I'm excited to be part of this Evonik Digital GmbH. And Evonik as such is an interesting corporation with 14.4 billion euro turnover. We are a company, most of you may not know or may not know that you are using it every day. More than 80% of our products are from leading market position globally, 180 locations worldwide. We have 36,000 employees, 2.3 billion EBIT, but for me the most important number is new patent application. Every day Evonik is filing a patent. And this is a company, a chemical company in a traditional world, but what we do is not only thinking in our chemistry, but we think about the solution for our customers, for new technologies, for enabling them for better things. We have locations around the globe. That means we are compiling really that what's going on in the business world and the technology world. And also that is very, very interesting and exciting. But coming to that, what we really do is we take existing products like tires, like mattresses, nutrition tablets, you name it, and we put different properties into it. And an exciting story is here the tires. A tire is black because the reinforcement is done with carbon black traditionally. But the problem with the carbon black was that the tire is heating up while rolling, and it's increasing the rolling resistance. We developed already some 20 years, 30 years even ago, a technology that the tire is not heating up that much, and it's reducing rolling resistance. And if I think today about e-mobility, and the distance a car can go with a battery, this is a solution that the efficiency of a tire of a car in e-mobility is even increased. So things which you typically don't think about. Other interesting thing is the change of the energy. So from nuclear power plants to alternative energy. You see these big windmills turning around, and you see on the highway sometimes they are standing there, and it's 30 meters blade. Not that big, but the stiffness, the power when this is turning is immense. And there's a chemical of Evonik also here to cross-link the polyester material, that the stiffness is there, and that at the end of the day you can produce these large windmills. So these are the things we are doing, and we are doing every day new ideas, new opportunities, and again, seeing in a high number of patents, we are really at the edge of development very often. So no progress without chemistry. I'm bold because I really see and think the chemical world is that what drives production world, and there is pretty much no product in the world which is not related to any chemical product. So chemicals are enabling, chemicals make things happen, and chemicals drive innovation also, what we have seen with the tires. The other side is, when we go one step deeper, or 2 steps deeper, we are a very traditional industry. I'm from Evonik, but I've started here in Frankfurt with Degussa. The one or the other remember Degussa, a company founded in 1848. And sometimes I think the processes we are doing are still like 100 years ago. We have a contract with the company. Sure, we buy raw materials, sure. We have a production. We have a transport, we have a goods receipt at the customer side. When the material is okay, invoice is okay, he's paying it. But what we do is, since always, I would say, it's a one-to-one relation. We have a one-to-one relation between the customer and the supplier. We, as a supplier, ask the carrier to deliver the material. Another one-to-one relation, which is kind of somewhat independent from the first. And then at the end, customer pays via his bank, we receive the money via our bank. So the third, a one-to-one relation. So, and when you see, it is completely interlinked. It is interlinked from the whole process, but because we think in functions, everybody is doing his part of the function, and only when the function is done, yeah, we are ready to act the next level. When we think in terms of the information which are generated in the different functions, everybody tries to keep the information as long as possible until he's safe and sure that the information is good enough to give it to the next function. They don't trust sometimes that the information is really well in a good order, and then they hide information which is valuable. If we would have a chance to give the information the different functions have in their hands on a distributed database, if we take the information not based on somebody thinks this is right, but we're taking sensors, the data oracles, here comes the oracle again, and we have the proof that this is really what the information is. And then we put it into a smart contract, the if-then relation. So if this happens, then he gets his money, or then he has to pay something else on top. And we give access rights to this public available information, to many for sure. We have a complete info base for everybody on one side. On the other side, really good information quality that it's not necessary anymore to hide the information for the next one until he is ready to go. No, we can give it right away. And what does that mean? Same picture here. We don't think anymore in one-to-one relation. We think in, let's call it an ecosystem between customer, between carrier, between supplier, between the bank. And we put the information which is relevant for the execution of the contract between the two companies in a smart contract. And the smart contracts comprising not only our agreement between the customer and the supplier, but we include also the carrier, we include the bank. And then we have an information chain where only three things matter. The contract, if then, two contracts in fact, between the carrier and our customer. An expected pickup date. This is important because the carrier then can organize himself better. And the expected incoming payment. And this is the case, what Marcel has shown here from the financial side, as well as Simon will show it from the Commerzbank side. So if there is already the knowledge that there is something going on in the business relation between two parties, people can think different. I missed one important part when I characterized a little bit the chemical industry. The chemical industry is an industry with their industry partners in relation since the beginning of the chemical, I would say. So Evonik, BASF, Lanxess, Covestro, Wacker, Dow, DuPont, whoever you have, the chemical industry is an industry which is exchanging since years and centuries. And therefore, we have a long relation, and sometimes we deliver products until today for more than 100 years. And if you have this, you can design in a different way of structure of the business. And this is what I meant here when I say there is a trust in the information between two parties. We only need to open the information to other parties too. And then here at the lower end, we can increase efficiency. We can conserve resources, or we can have new financial products. Conserve resources is another interesting thing here in the producing world. Every day we are running on our highway and we are bypassing more and more trucks. And sometimes we don't know, is a truck really filled with material or is it an empty car returning from somewhere? And I think a big problem the industry has, overall industry has, that there is too much trucks running on the street without material in it. This solution here is an idea we discussed. If already the carrier doesn't know at the time when the customer is placing an order, there is an order expected to be delivered on the 25th of March, for example. He doesn't need to wait until he gets the order from us to pick up the material and to deliver it. He can say, I'm anyhow there because of my scheduling. I can pick up the material and I myself can say, I take this order. Pick up this order and deliver it. And then with that information, I think it is possible to reduce the empty trucks on the street on one side and increase efficiency from the carrier side. A very solid and interesting application, but there are much more if you start thinking about it in this value chain, in this process chain, what you can do. Coming to our use case with Azhos. The whole thing has started, Marcel, around about a year ago, April last year, because Evonik is working with industry peers from Europe and in the United States in a network of network. Network of networks is exactly that. We have the challenge how to improve the integration of the different companies. And we said we need to come closer together and we need to find ways how we can organize that better. How can we use new technologies to do so better? And we are doing it with a big company close to Frankfurt, I can say, that we said we'd like to take a smart contract for a full execution of an existing order. So that the order is based on a blockchain, a smart contract, and the full execution is done on this. With the benefit at the end, invoice verification, no need anymore, big thing. The carrier is involved as the way I've shown. And then by coincidence, I met here at this site Istvan, and he said, this is interesting. I have a startup company who might be very interesting for you. And Marcel came, showed us his solution, and we said, perfect. Because this is the last part of this value chain when we talk about the end-to-end process, order or offer to cash. And I said, brilliant, excellent, fits perfectly. And so we started this proof of concept, and what we are doing currently, or what we have done already, the transfer of silo information from a fill level data into a blockchain. Existing, it's running, it's there. Now we take this volume and we multiply it by the price, and we have a value. This value is at the end that what needs to be done for the transfer of the money. But we have the proof of existence because this silo is a dedicated silo for a specific material between two parties. Proof of existence, important for the banks, know your customer, and having really a solid business behind. Then this process of what Simon will show later, switch the euro on value to the ledger, and having also here the instant cash is something we will test. And the automated booking is something which generates a lot of value because we run invoice verification processes which are very, very time-consuming for people. So this is the description what we do. What are the benefits? The bulk delivery in the chemical world is an important part first of all, the facts, important part, because you can imagine chemicals are run in bulks, in truckloads, and therefore it's important. The shape of the permanent customer relation, what I mentioned before, so we have a constant business, we can put it on there. It is technically feasible, the bank has shown it is done, it is doable, and we can do it with a proof of concept. What we need to do now is the relation between the two parties must be on a contractual base that we use digital money now for paying that. This is the part where now the legal colleagues come in, where we say, how do we do that? But the benefit, shortening the cash-to-cash cycle time, an autonomous supply chain with flexible billing. Autonomous supply chain sounds interesting. We think that we do not need to have an order anymore to deliver a company a product on one side. And yes, we need an invoice for tax reasons, but for payment, we don't need even an invoice anymore because everything is based on the information in the blockchain side. You're creating values through the same data at the same time for all partners involved in the business process. That is what I've shown. When all the information is in the blockchain, from the time when the data started to exist and you have access to it, you can think, what can I do with the data? What can I do improving here the process? For sure you can be proactive, referring to the Spanish situation 2008, 2009. If you have a chance to get liquidity because of your solid business, you have a chance to have a different cash management possibilities, and also here the fully automatic billing of small quantities and the immediate payment. So currently we are I would say in the last 30–40% of realizing the case with a big industry partner of having the payment on the ledger, having the involved information from a tank, from a silo, from a customer into the blockchain, deliver it in the way, and to really show the proof of concept that this is really working. And I'm keen, and I think really this will be a game changer, not only because of the finance side, but the whole way how the chemical industry is doing business processes between their business partners. And that is what really drives us to use this technology in order to make things different and not anymore the way how we did it in the last 100 years. Thank you very much, and do you have questions?